And welcome to the first episode of Buffoons Sports Talk. I'm one of your hosts, Phil Melangi. I'm joined today with Troy Alexander.
What's up, guys?
Jake Hoffman.
How's it going?
And Alex Campbell.
What's up?
And on today's episode, we'll definitely be talking about the NFL and the upcoming games for Week 3, briefly talk about Thursday night game, and then touch up real quick on teams that are currently 2-0. Are we buying or are we selling them? We'll also be talking about Jalen Ramsey with his recent incident wanting to be traded from the Jags. Is this just a normal thing, or is this similar to all sports? And then we'll also be discussing new generation quarterbacks that are coming into the NFL, and then we'll end it off with a little bit of baseball.
Sounds good.
Alrighty, so let's go ahead and get started with the Week 3 matchups, but I feel like we should quickly talk about the Thursday night game and what our opinion was on that. So whoever wants to start that off.
Yeah, I think Marcus Mariota is on the hot seat this season.
Oh, I think this is his last chance. Honestly, as much as I want to bash the Titans, I'm more hyped about this guy on the Jags. I'm really high on him. He's actually been going off. Have you guys seen his stats?
Yeah, I mean, I want to see him play against a couple more teams after they got some film on him.
I mean, yeah, I agree, but even Week 1 against the Chiefs when he had to come in after Nick Foles got hurt, he actually kept it pretty close for a little bit there. He looked like they were making a comeback.
He did.
To briefly talk about it, he had 30 attempts, 20 completions for 67%, 204 passing yards, and 2 touchdowns for Gardner Minshew.
Yeah, I got that game wrong. I predicted the Titans winning that one. So
I had a feeling they were going to win just because ESPN actually put up an interesting stat where it shows the last few times these teams have played on Thursday night football. Like the past 4 or 5 years, the team that was at home actually won that game, dating about 5 years back. So that's the reason why I selected the Jags to win.
So basically, you just want to play at home on Thursday Night Football.
Yeah, on a short week, why not?
Okay.
Yeah, I don't want to beat a dead horse with stats, but he came into that game against Kansas City, and he threw the ball 25 times and completed 22 passes.
Damn.
And had 2 touchdowns. He had an interception, but first game?
yeah, I think that's kind of, and I think we'll get to this later, but I think that's just kind of the new era of quarterbacking in the NFL. I mean, I think you're going to see these high percentage games pretty often where they're completing, 70, 80, 90% of their passes.
Right. Is it like a lot of these quarterbacks that come in and it's like, oh my God, they're great like their first season, and then it's like, come second year, it's like, we've got some film on this guy when he doesn't have the most successful second season.
I think I'm more shocked by him. I agree with you, Troy. I am the first person to say I can't stand it when people are like, oh, he's the next big thing. I'm like, it's been a year.
Yeah,
you have no film.
I look at Colin Kaepernick as like the biggest example. Like, I mean, there's been more, but
usually, I don't know. You tell me if I'm wrong, but usually, it seems to quarterbacks usually get overhyped when they're mobile, and to me, Gardner doesn't seem like he's crazy mobile. He's been throwing the ball.
Yeah, he looked calm in the pocket, so which is kind of rare you see.
Yeah, but you'll start to see certain tendencies like, okay, they either throw the ball high or there's certain routes that they don't like throwing. I mean, there's some quarterbacks that really aren't good at throwing corner routes. There are some that are, so you'll start to find certain tendencies, and you can play coverages based on what he's capable of throwing against.
All I want out of Jake is, I know he's in the Colts division. I know you're just going to be a hater regardless. But Can you say you're impressed?
Nope.
Really?
I mean, no.
Are you really going to bring your biasness on this podcast right now?
I mean, sure, yeah.
On episode 1, you're going to show the viewers right now.
Is it impressive that a 6th-round pick came in and started to do well? Yeah, it's impressive, but
Thank you.
well,
I'll wait till they start to win some games. I mean, they won one home game on a Thursday night, on a short week against Tennessee. I want to see. Tennessee's not a bad team though. They were 9-7 last year, I think. So they were.
You were hyping up Tennessee just a couple days ago, so
I do think they're a good
Honestly,
team.
the only thing Tennessee has is Derrick Henry and that
They've got a
freaking
good
tank
defense.
of a running back.
and they're actually using him.
They have a good secondary.
I don't even want to bring
True,
it up, but
true.
have you guys seen Derrick Henry's high school stats? Look it up later on when you have free time.
okay.
Insane.
Well,
This game also proved that Fournette's slow as hell.
yeah, I mean, it was like I honestly didn't watch the whole game, but I watched little spurts of it, and it's like, I just in the back of my mind, I just always had the Jalen Ramsey situation on my mind. It's like, so is this guy gonna play tonight and then have a good game, and then just wake up the next morning and be like, okay, we'll see y'all, and nice playing last night with you, but I'm gone.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because you sat there and you're like, is he going to just... You wouldn't think he would blow the game by any means necessary because that's not a professional in any sense. But you kind of sat there and you're like, I wonder if he's sitting there looking at the line. He's like,
right,
forget you guys.
And you think, like, as fans that...
I'm going to let this pass so happily go by.
Exactly. And this is, like, the stigma around players asking for trades. It's like when fans get mad, they're like, no, you can't trade him. But it's like that stigma is always with... If we're fans sitting there watching the games, you got to imagine his players... and his teammates are thinking that as well. Like, it's always just going to be on everyone's mind after that happened. So you got to get this guy out of there.
It's just got to be so awkward too, because even the owner was like, "No, we want to keep him, and we love him, and blah blah blah." And then they basically cleaned out his locker. Like, if you look at his locker compared to all his teammates on Thursday night,
yeah,
they didn't look the same. Yeah,
and that's the question you asked too. That's like, well, do teams sit these guys now that ask for trades, or do you play them? But then when you play them, it's like, it's just awkward.
See, I think you can go one. I think
and risky.
Yeah,
more than awkward, it's risky.
It is really risky.
See, what happens when a team goes, no, we're gonna bench you and you're gonna get fined?
Well, then he's just
I feel like more teams should be doing that. Literally
really?
putting their foot down.
Like, what about Jerry Jones? Zeke had, 3 years?
For Zeke?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He could have benched him for 3 years. And
2 and then a franchise tag, But yeah, 3 years. That's why I said, I understand why Zeke's holding out. I think it's a stupid move by the Cowboys, and I think Jerry Jones in that situation was a pretty weak businessman. And I think it's, not to get too far off topic really quick, but just want to discuss this really quick that I don't think we ever really touched on. That's, when you give your running back that much money for that long, do you even want to give him 20 touches a game? Or 25 a game, like they're going to supposedly feed Zeke?
You would think that you paying him that much, you would want him to get as many touches as possible. But I get your point with you saying, would you want him to have that many touches because you're risking injury at any given moment?
Let's ask Troy.
I was just about to say, let's just ask me, guys. Like,
Rams fan here.
Yeah, like, not only am I disappointed with the Goff extension, but, like, this is the clearest example of why you don't pay running backs $20 million a year. Or not even 15 is probably a lot. Like, Gurley already had torn his ACL in college. He has 3 great seasons. Then you pay him this much money. Look what happens. He's on load management. Like, Malcolm Brown is pretty much the starter for the Rams. I understand Gurley is still technically the starter, but he's splitting reps between Malcolm Brown right now because they're saving him because they know, look, this guy's got knee arthritis. We can't push him in the regular season. We need him for the postseason. But it's like Phil just said. You're paying the guy to get 20 touches a game. He's not getting 20 touches a game. He's not even getting half that.
I got a question. So, do you think it's worth it to pay a running back $15 to $20 million if it's only a 1 to 2 year deal? Because I think you run into the problem where you go, I'm going to lock him up for 4 to 6 years, and I'm going to give him $15 million a year. Because in the second year, he might get hurt. Whereas if you do it kind of year-by-year basis, I feel like you're kind of protecting your assets a little more.
I 100% agree, but running backs and players don't want one-year deals unless they're just journeymen that want to play for multiple franchises. They don't want to. They would like to be locked up, but at the same time, it's like, well, if I can get $20 million for 1 year, shit, I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
I think that's why you're going to start to see running backs going less in the first round again, like they used to, because they're starting to demand these ridiculous contracts that it's. And I understand why they want them, but it's just stupid for an NFL team to pay that,
Right. Sorry for getting off topic. What
Typical Buffoons.
Yeah, we just get
Going
into
off
that.
Sometimes we
topic.
rant, guys.
Yeah, but we love it. Hey, just to backtrack on that game real quick, and I don't mean to keep, picking on this guy, but Fournette, oh my goodness, kept getting stopped at the line. He just doesn't look like how he was his rookie year. He had 15 carries for 66 yards. However, he did have 1 carry for 69 yards, and honestly, if that was any other running back, they probably would have scored a touchdown, but he was so slow he got caught, and I just think that's hilarious. Sunday's games, so we'll start with the morning games. So the first one, let's talk about our predictions and who we think who's gonna win, and so on and so forth.
What we should do really quick, just for fun, is you should say the game, and then we should all shout who we think is gonna win, and then let one person kind of just expand on,
Rather than just go around the table, probably takes more time to do that.
All right.
I don't really care.
All right, first game. Bengals and Bills. So 1, 2, 3.
Bills.
Bills.
Well,
I didn't even listen to the options. I'm sorry.
It was Bengals and Bills, bud.
I
Come
got
on.
Bills, baby.
Let's do that then.
Yeah.
All right, so I think we all agree Bills have a solid defense. Started off 2-0. Both their first games were on the road. Actually look impressive. Josh Allen is actually a stud.
Baby.
And old man Frank Gore coming in is going to run all over that defense. So I'm definitely excited to keep a tally on that game and see how's it's going pretty much. Second game would be the Lions at the Eagles.
ooh.
Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Eagles.
I like this better because we
So
get to all
far,
see it.
Yeah.
we're all
Wow.
on the same page.
But God, I've got carry on. I really hope he just runs all over the Phillies defense, man.
Oh, fantasy. We could go on
Ooh.
about that another time. And we got to have a segment on fantasy, baby.
We do,
girls.
especially because our listeners should
Bring it to
know
me.
that
Bring it to me.
Melange and Troy play each other this week in fantasy.
Woo!
They're both 0-2, so someone is going to start 0-3.
Yeah, this is my first fantasy. It's been a rough few first games for me. But go on, Phil. What's next game?
And I'm just going to briefly explain. I usually start off really bad in fantasy and somehow make it to the championship. I don't know how that works.
Somehow,
Anyways,
he
next
says
game
it so
would be
smugly.
the Jets at the Patriots. So
That was a nice flex, Phil.
Jets!
I'm always
Oh, what?
My bad.
What's okay.
typical
Can
Alex.
you wait for the countdown?
Sorry.
Always a little early. Ding,
Oh.
ding. All right. 1, 2, 3.
Patriots. Okay.
No explaining here.
Maybe there could be a little explaining though. Do you think they're still reeling a little bit without AB after releasing him? And do you think maybe
The question is, do the Patriots win by 20 or 30?
I'm leaning to the 30.
Okay. I'll just
35.
Jets is working off of their backup QBs, so I just don't see. I'm just not confident
Yeah, Jake,
whatsoever.
Another bye
Jake
week
gave
for the
Sam
Patriots.
Darnold mono, so
Okay.
Next game would be the Raiders at the Vikings. So I know we're not going to be on the same page, but all right. 1, 2, 3.
Vikings.
Minnesota.
Oh, Alex.
Ooh, he's going against his
Anyone
Raiders.
who's listening, Alex is actually a huge Raiders fan. Tough offseason. Very upset about AB, but that's, we can talk about that another time.
Really quick, though, let me just weigh in. It's going to be way closer than people think. And honestly, if the Raiders get to Kirk Cousins, they could win.
get to Kirk Cousins. Okay, next game.
Next
We don't want to
game-
get Troy on Kirk Cousins, so we'll just move on from
I
there.
look at little Jakey over here. He's like this guy.
This past week, we had a huge discussion between Kirk Cousins. Is he actually a good quarterback? Is it just the system he's in? It just isn't working. And it was just a big old ordeal that went back and forth for a while. It was very entertaining. We might bring it on one of the episodes. Who knows?
For the record, he's not great, but he's good.
Next game would be the Ravens at the Chiefs. And I think this might be my favorite game of the week.
I think it is.
Both 2-0.
But I already have my opinions on it. But ready?
Same.
1, 2, 3.
Chiefs.
But it's going to be they're going to kick some ass,
shut
in my
up.
opinion. All of a sudden, Jake's a Baltimore fan.
No, I'm just
Guys.
kidding. What are you talking about? I like the Chiefs.
How exciting is this? The first 5 games, we're all on the same page. Wow.
It'll get interesting.
Oh, definitely with this next one. Falcons at Colts.
Ooh.
Okay.
Anyone who's listening, Jake is a huge Colts fan. All right, ready?
Been a rough year.
1, 2, 3.
Colts.
Falcons.
Shit.
No,
So who
honestly,
said
let's
Falcons? Who said Falcons?
All three of
did.
us, except for Jake.
Oh,
let's
Jake
briefly,
said Colts. He's trying to take it back now.
No, I'm
let's
not trying to take it
briefly
back.
talk
I
about
still got
this.
my
I
Colts.
want to know
First game at home, baby.
this, and this is you not being biased by any means, but obviously Falcons defense does look a little concerning, if I'm being just honest. Is that why you're confident? Plus, it's at home, and the Colts are actually performing better than people anticipated.
If it wasn't for Adam Vinatieri and his fucking old man leg, they'd be 2-0. They outplayed the Chargers and they outplayed the Titans. Those are two teams, and they outplayed them both on the road. And those are two teams that were in the playoff. Well, the Titans weren't in the playoffs, but they were 9-7 last year. So I think the Colts can win.
Alex has got his face buried in
He's
his
not happy
palms
about this,
right
but I
now.
think that's a
First game at
realistic.
home.
That's realistic in my
I
opinion.
predict.
Do you think it's going to be a slobber knocker? Like,
Dead.
why are you upset about it?
No, I'm not. He keeps talking about the Titans being 9-7 last year, and then one moment he's like, "Oh, they're good," and then the next moment I'm like, "Yeah, but the Jags just killed them," and they're like, "Oh, they're not that good," and then they're like, "Well, they are that good because they went 9-7 last year," and I'm just like, "Well, I don't know which one it is
They're an
anymore."
average team. They're a good
And
team.
I totally take back what I said earlier about Tennessee. They actually have a solid defense. They just the offense just can't get it going. Besides Derrick Henry,
If they're playing at home with Marcus Mariota like playing well, they can beat anybody in any week. Marcus Mariota is inconsistent.
If Marlon Mack was healthy, I would say they have a better chance. But I just think with him being hurt, I just think the Falcons, Matt Ryan, I think they figured something out after last game. Hopefully they start using Julio. I just think Matt Ryan's going to try and step it up this year, and we'll see. He doesn't play the greatest away games, but I think in Indy he'll be fine.
agree. All right, next game we have the Broncos at Green Bay against the Packers. So, 1, 2, 3.
Packers. God, Adams, please do something.
Joe Flacid is just not impressive whatsoever.
I told Jake that before the season. He didn't believe me.
It's just he just hasn't been playing well whatsoever. It's actually been kind of disappointing.
Well, his team's getting so many holding calls. It's incredible.
True.
Can you turn your phone off, please?
Well, I was going to look
Or
up
at least
stats.
mute it?
I was looking up stats.
You turn your button on the side, you press it down, and then you hold the volume button down,
And
it
again,
goes
we
to
really
silent.
appreciate you guys tuning in on the Buffoon Sports Talk. Again, we're just a group of friends that love to talk about sports, and this scenario you just listened to, that's us on a daily.
Yeah, Alex is a salty motherfucker about everything because his team sucks.
Next game, we have the Dolphins in Dallas against the Cowboys. 1, 2, 3. Cowboys.
Dolphins.
Dallas.
Clearly, you
Thinking the
guys
same
are
thing,
joking.
just fucking
Cowboys.
It's gonna be the Cowboys.
Yeah,
So-
I think the Cowboys are so overrated, but they're playing the Dolphins.
You're about to see them get so many calls this year.
Yeah.
The refs.
So
the NFL.
we
wants
were
them, not
Alex
the
and I were
Patriots.
talking yesterday, and the Dolphins in 2 games have been scored against. What was the ridiculous amount?
They've scored 10 points, and they've given up 113 or something crazy like that, 103 or
100.
something.
It was 102.
Yeah.
It was an average of 51 points scored against them in the first 2 games. Dolphins are on pace for being the worst team ever.
I was just
in
about
NFL.
I was just about to mention that. I was like, are they going to actually be the worst team ever?
I think in order to be considered the worst team, you actually have to go 0-16 though, not just have like a huge like.
But there's
points.
been 0-16 teams before.
Right, but they didn't have the worst point differentials either. Like, you know what I mean? I think in order for the Dolphins to be that worst team, even if they get outscored by the most points,
it's
they
bad.
still have to go winless.
You know it's bad when your star safety just wants to just leave and demands a trade right off the bat after the first game. Clearly, he saw something in this defense, and this team overall was just not sold on it and demanded a trade.
Well, they're in
Yeah.
their prime, and they don't want to wait. So, next. It's the Dolphins. I don't want to sit here and expand on that. We'll lose viewers the longer we talk about that.
Next game is the New York Giants against Tampa Bay Buccaneers in Tampa Bay. 1, 2, 3.
Giants.
Buccaneers. I got Buccaneers.
I got Buccaneers.
Yeah, me too.
Giants.
Ooh, these guys are high on Daniel Jones on his first start.
They are.
Very impressive during the offseason. Yes, it's against second, third, and fourth string players and some other players that don't even make the team. But I think it was the right move.
Oh, I definitely think it was the right move. I don't know, rookie, first start on the road. It's kind of rough. I'm just, for that reason, I'm going to say the Buccaneers.
But it's the same thing. I mean, maybe he surprises everyone like Minshew from Jacksonville.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible. I don't know. I don't know. I think Arians is going to take it to the Giants defense.
All right, so next game would be the Panthers in Arizona against the Cardinals.
Oh, God. Okay.
Ready?
Yep.
1, 2, 3.
Cardinals.
I think Cardinals get their first win.
I would choose the Cardinals even if Cameron Newton was there.
Cam just looks...
Cameron Newton.
Cameron, that's how he's playing right now.
He's playing like a Cameron.
Yeah.
Did you see what that motherfucker was wearing at his press conference?
Yeah, he looked like what's her name from that one movie. Forgot what
There's
it was.
a lot of movies.
Yeah,
Sweet
it's
movie.
So funny.
Sweet movie.
I know. Hey, I'll bring it back another time. Okay.
All right.
I saw a funny meme, and he was like, "Looks like Cam Newton has a she shed." All right, next game we have the Steelers in San Francisco against the 49ers.
Oh, wow.
All right, ready?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
49ers.
Yeah.
Steelers, obviously, without Ben Roethlisberger. He's out for the season with an elbow injury. And
That pretty much means their season's done.
pretty much.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Personally, me, as a 49ers fan, I'm definitely really excited to see the Niners hopefully start off 3-0 before their bye week.
You guys are about to see Mason Rudolph play better than you guys are thinking. I'm just about to say it right here.
I know.
You heard it from here first.
I agree. I picked him up in fantasy.
Big Ben's all talking about coming back next year better than ever. You might not be coming back to Pittsburgh next year.
There's an
buddy.
interesting poll that was released where it was like, if he plays decent, let's say he takes the Steelers to 8-8 or 9-7 in their first season.
Let's save this. This is my topic for later, though. The new era of quarterbacking.
So we're gonna backtrack and go
Ooh, I mean, we can talk about it
to
now.
no. I want to save it. That's a really good point. The Saints in Seattle against the Seahawks.
Oh, okay.
Obviously, Drew Brees out for 6 weeks
Yeah.
with torn ligaments in his thumb. So 1, 2, 3.
Seahawks.
Yeah, I honestly think there's going to be 3 teams in the NFC West that are 3-0 this upcoming week, being the Rams, 49ers, and Seahawks. So,
And don't sleep on the Cardinals.
Well, they won't be 3-0. But
They
Yeah,
won't be
they're
3-0.
1-1, but
Kyler Murray,
he's looking better every game.
impressive.
being in Arizona, I have so many comments on Cardinal fans. It's ridiculous, but I'll save that for a whole other time.
Okay.
everybody was low on Kyler Murray. I knew he was going to be good from the get-go. He's too accurate.
Well, let's
Next game,
Let it
let's
play
talk
out.
about
Yeah,
Houston Texans in Los Angeles against the Chargers.
it's an interesting one.
Oh, that is.
That's a really interesting one.
Probably the hardest one to call so
Oh,
far.
wow.
Yeah.
All right, I'll give you guys a couple
Wow.
seconds.
I already got my pick in.
Got your
Where's
pick?
it?
Got your
It's
pick?
in L.A.?
It's in LA.
Ooh.
1, 2, 3.
Texans.
Chargers.
I got Texans.
I
Yeah,
got Texans.
I got Chargers.
How come?
Okay.
I just
Enlighten.
Melvin Gordon's gonna run. Oh wait.
Montgomery's not there, and
Oh,
Austin Eckler is
yeah, I
the
know.
number 1 running back in the league, I think, right now, actually. So
So impressive.
not looking too smart there, huh, Troy?
No, probably not. But I'm just trolling.
Shots fired.
And
Love it!
And Justin Jackson's no joke either. Keenan Allen looks great.
They did lose Hunter Henry, but
Yeah.
he should be back
I don't know, I
within
just-
a few weeks.
It's really their secondary right now. They're losing safeties left and right.
J.J. Watt does not look the same right now.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think in LA, I've got the Chargers. I don't think they're gonna smash on them. I think it could be a 3-point game. I wouldn't be surprised if Houston won. I wouldn't look at you guys and be like, you're crazy for thinking that. But like,
Moving on to the next game, which is actually the Sunday night game. Troy, this is your game. The Los Angeles Rams are at Cleveland against the Browns.
Cleveland. Okay, go on.
Ready?
Yep.
1, 2, 3.
Rams. Yeah. Oh god, they're gonna be 3-0. I love the NFC
I said the
West.
Browns just because I wanted to see Troy's reaction, but I don't think he heard me.
Well,
Don't lie, Phil. If you really think the Browns are going to win.
Mm-hmm. Mayfield.
Mayfield's about to. Well, actually, Sean McVay just previously said that Donald is questionable.
Well, I think we should all just give a quick shout out to the Browns, though. This is their first Sunday night football game in over 10 years.
I think the Raiders had one earlier than that.
Yep. I mean, that ends the longest drought in NFL history.
Yeah.
For a for a Sunday night primetime game.
I actually think this will be probably a close game. I think Odell Beckham's gonna have a really good game. I think he's gonna play really solid, and
I don't.
well, I do, and I honestly think the Rams really struggle in the run. So struggled last year. They've been getting ran on the first 2 games also. So there you go, Browns. I mean, just look at the analytics and you'll see you should just be running the ball most of the game. So, but anyway,
So then we'll move on to the Monday night game,
Ooh, baby.
which is the Chicago Bears in Washington against the Redskins. Got our picks?
yep,
1, 2, 3.
Bears.
Redskins.
Well, Jordan Reed's not playing either.
I
So I saw a report that he wasn't playing. That's a factor.
Are you a fan of Case Keenum?
I'm just not high on the Bears.
Neither am I, but I'm
I'm not
also not
either.
high on the
That
Redskins.
offense just looks terrible. I just think Gruden will have a plan for Trubisky.
Yeah, I mean, Trubisky is someone that, if we are going to talk about quarterbacks in the new era, I think he is one of the ones that's, not really living up to par right now. He still is making rookie mistakes in his third season. He's not looking off defenders. He's throwing into double coverage, and he's not making good pre-snap reads. So, his accuracy has kind of been subpar, and I got a lot of questions about Trubisky.
I think we all have a lot of questions about Trubisky. Bullet.
You savage, you.
You guys will all see him on the podcast sometime.
Exactly. So let's get on to the next topic. And Jake, I'm going to throw this to you because I know how passionate you are with this topic on the new generation of quarterbacks. So briefly talk about what your opinion is on the new generation of quarterbacks that are coming in. And, go ahead.
I just think that quarterbacks aren't going to be as valued over the next 5 years as they have been over the last 10 to 15. And I think that's because, I always like to say that football's got its own metagame that changes over time. Certain things get valued more at different time periods. Right now you're seeing pass rushers and corners valued a lot, but before it was middle linebackers and the ability to tackle. And over time, with Peyton Manning and Drew Brees and Tom Brady and even Brett Favre, I think the game changed in the NFL to really become more favored towards the quarterbacks. But now that you're seeing so many quarterbacks come out of college that can execute a pro-style offense efficiently, you're going to start to see where I don't think that elite quarterback is necessary to win a Super Bowl like it maybe has been over the last, 15 to 20 years, outside of a few exceptions with, Joe Flacco and a few others. But these new era quarterbacks, I think you're going to see a lot more RPOs. I think that's one reason where, and I'll bring it back to the Colts because they're my favorite team, but you look at losing Andrew Luck, and at first you would think that that's going to be a huge hit to your team. But the reason why I think the Colts can have more success than people think is because they're executing high-efficiency plays under Frank Reich, who helped create the RPO system. Him and Doug Peterson, I was blanking on his name. They designed an easy game plan for Nick Foles that was designed based on the RPO, where you just read the defensive end to see if he's going for the running back, and if he is, you keep the ball and throw it. But the difference is if you've got a quarterback that's mobile right now and can run too, it's even easier to execute those plays where you're just taking what the defense is giving you. And so I think you're going to see a different type of NFL where you're not going to see as many people trying to carve up defenses deep, with these 7-step drops and these, 20 to 35-yard passes downfield like you've seen with Peyton Manning and Brett Favre, et cetera. I think you're going to see a much more high-efficiency, dink and dunk, quickly pass the ball off offenses, with Jacoby Brissett, Carson Wentz, and these players. The only exception to that would be probably Patrick Mahomes.
Right, and I actually really agree with you on this because you brought up Joe Flacco. Like, you look back at that 2012 team that won it that year. Like, Flacco's definitely not a talented quarterback, but he had an amazing defense. He had Ray Rice in his prime, and how are you able to run so well? You have a good O-line, right? And then I look at my team, the Rams. I don't think Jared Goff is no disrespect, but this is just my personal opinion. I don't think Goff's worth over $100 million guaranteed. I don't think he's that talented of a quarterback. But it also comes in with your system and how your head coach or your offensive coordinator is designing play calls for you. So I 100% agree with Jake. I don't even think you really need a top tier 1 quarterback in the NFL to win. And I think that's going to be the growing trend in the next 5-10 years.
So you're saying for an organization, they should invest their money in defense, offensive line, and then that's what their main focus should be. Because that's what wins championships, right? Like basic fundamental football.
Look, most people don't truly understand what they're actually watching when they've got the football game on, but this game comes down to blocking and tackling at the end of the day. Mm-hmm. The offensive line and the defensive line, and setting the line of scrimmage. And usually the better team that can set the edge or set the pace on the line, they win the game.
Right, and I think like when you just need a good decision maker back, that's someone that can work your audibles, that can manage the game, that just makes good decisions. We're not asking you to go out there and make Peyton Manning throws. just make precise decisions.
Yeah,
Now-
you don't have to throw your receivers open anymore like you used to. I mean, if you can, that's a plus. But
What about those quarterbacks that are one in a generation that comes through in the draft? Should a team reach out for that?
Oh,
like a Peyton Manning, for example, or an Aaron Rodgers,
absolutely,
Yeah.
look what Patrick Mahomes is doing.
Patrick Mahomes.
Right. I definitely think if you have the chance to get that quarterback, you still do it. But I think you don't have to go out of your way to pay these quarterbacks tons of money because you just build your
So
team
you're saying
and
like
put money into those important positions.
my bad.
No, go ahead.
So you're saying like the teams like the Vikings, for example, where they paid a lot of money for Kirk Cousins, and I'm not purposely trying to bring him up.
No,
but
I
they
know.
Oh,
paid.
he's not purposely trying to bring it up, Troy. Did you hear that?
No.
He could have used any of the other, like,
That is a
32
good example,
teams.
though. It's a really good
Yeah.
example.
Yeah, yeet. And
This fucking guy.
so sorry, back on topic. So you don't think that like the Vikings, what they did is that they went out of their way to reach for Kirk Cousins, gave him a big contract, and he's a good quarterback. He's not like a once in a generation thing. So you disagree with that mindset behind it?
I do. Now I'm not the biggest Cousins fan. Like, we actually did a poll where would I take Cousins over every other. We did a starting quarterback comparison. Would you take him over, the Panthers starting quarterback or Buccaneers starting quarterback? And I think he's like 16th or whatever. So he's at the bottom or upper half of the NFL. No, I don't believe in necessarily putting a ton of money into a quarterback. It's literally like what Jake and I just said. It's like you don't have to give him all this money. Put your money into line, D-line, O-line, and on defense. And I mean, those are.
And I don't think that was the case over the last 15 years. When you've got Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, Drew Brees, Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers, Phillip Rivers, Big Ben, Eli Manning kind of dominating the NFL. I understand where most other teams were looking at it like, hey, we can't win if you don't have a quarterback like that. But I think now there's just so many quarterbacks coming out that are mobile, accurate, and can execute an offense from college. I mean, there's 130 college Division I teams now. So, I mean, you're thinking about how many different quarterbacks there. I mean, there's 130 starting quarterbacks in college, and every 2 to 4 years, you're getting a new rotation in of guys.
I just want to say something really quick that this year so far, Eli Manning has thrown 230 more yards than Kirk Cousins, and they both have 2 touchdowns and 2 interceptions.
Oh God, I have so much to say on Kirk Cousins, but
And Eli Manning was just benched.
yeah, I just think that that's just the way kind of sports in general are. Like, we've seen, you see all the time, like these kids that are 16 that are so talented already. That's like, damn, is this dude going to be in the NFL one day? I just think talent is growing, and we're honestly blessed as fans to be able to watch all this talent at once in every sport. It's not just the NFL; it's every other sport. There's so much talent, and with the growing talent, maybe you're not going to need to invest all this money into one position anymore. Maybe that's just the growing evolution of sports in general.
Yeah.
So.
Well, yeah, eventually if everybody's an elite player, it's just going to look like everyone's normal, and you won't have to pay everyone as much.
No, I don't think every position is going to be elite. I'm just saying,
Well,
I think the quarterback position, it's you can just be somewhat talented and still win because it's probably not going to be the most important position eventually.
the one sport that isn't really built for dynasties is the NFL. Now, that wasn't always the case when there was no salary cap, but with a salary cap, it's really not built for dynasties, which is even why seeing what the Patriots have done is even crazier. But I think you're going to start to see, once Tom Brady retires and Bill Belichick retires probably as well, but I think you'll start to see more and more teams capable of winning a Super Bowl year in and year out. I don't think you'll see many teams go on to win 2 out of 3 Super Bowls or 3 out of 4 Super Bowls anymore.
All right, I agree with that. So let's move on to the next topic, but we'll stick with the NFL. We'll talk about the Jalen Ramsey situation and how he wants to be traded from the Jags. I know we briefly discussed it when we were talking about the Thursday night game.
Yeah.
Troy, I'll let you kick this one off. What's your opinion on Jalen Ramsey wanting to move away from Jacksonville? Obviously, he's not happy there. It seems like lately that's just a trend that's going on, not just in NFL, but across all sports, where people are getting very frustrated with their team and they just want out. They don't want to finish out whatever their current contract is or anything like that. So what do you think about this?
Yeah, well, I was watching something that I was watching it was NFL Primetime or some type of NFL show. Steve Young was on it, and he was saying that he doesn't think it's good that that Ramsey requested a trade, and he's like, the NFL is becoming the NBA. Obviously, in the NBA, there's a lot of star movement. The NBA is by far my favorite league. Basketball is my favorite sport, and I don't think it's worrisome at all. Like, if a player wants out, a player should have the ability to control his destiny. Like, now keep in mind, stars. I think stars have way more flexibility than just your average player. They're going to have leeway on where they want to go, what they want to say, what they want to do. I don't think there's a problem whatsoever in Ramsey requesting a trade. If he wants to win, he wants to win. I don't see the big deal on that. And maybe it just comes from Steve Young because he's kind of an old school guy. Maybe he just doesn't believe in that. But in my opinion, we haven't seen the NFL's been, for me anyway, it's been boring. Like, except the last few summers, like we've seen Odell Beckham not request a trade, but that's a star moved. And then now we're seeing Minka get moved to Pittsburgh, and now one of the best corners in the game being Ramsey asking for a trade. It's like, is this a growing trend in sports where, star players just want more say in what they can do?
I disagree with you in the NFL. I think it is kind of a problem because you can't have your cake and eat it too. You actually even mentioned earlier on this podcast that players don't want 1 to 2 year deals on their contracts. And it's like, okay, well, if you don't want 1 to 2 year deals on your contracts and you want to be guaranteed a lot of money, then you got to lock in to play with one team for a certain amount of time, damn it. And that's just how it's going to be. Uphold your end of the contract. And if you don't like that, then don't sign it. Don't sign it. Go sign with someone else,
Well, here's the problem. Jalen Ramsey wants to trade. Why?
Because they're bad.
Because he wants to win.
Right.
Well, one of the top teams to get him right now is the Miami Dolphins. So him requesting a trade to win is actually going to be the opposite because he's going to a worse team. So when you request a trade and you do it like that, the owner has every right to trade you to whatever team he wants. You don't get to say, I want to go to a winner.
That's true, but that's where the star movement that's where the star power comes into play. Is if you're a star, you're going to have more of a say in what you do and where you can go.
Let me just briefly throw this out here. Who all agrees that a star player like Jalen Ramsey can request a trade at any time? And who here disagrees that, no, they should do the right thing and finish out their contract? So I'll start with you, Troy.
You have the ability to do whatever the hell you want. If you want to trade,
But do you agree with it?
I do agree with it.
Okay. Jake?
I think you should be allowed to do it. I think there needs to be harsher penalties for players that need to do that. And I think the NFL owners are actually going to meet on something like that, to be honest.
Alex?
I have mixed feelings about it. I feel like if you sign a contract, that's your word, and you should have thought about that before. If you really thought the Jaguars were going to win a championship or a Super Bowl before that anyways, then you probably shouldn't have signed the contract if you didn't, I don't think they had a chance with Bortles, so I don't know why.
He didn't sign a contract, though. He's on his rookie contract still.
Well, then, honestly, he should probably just play out his rookie contract. That's how I feel about it.
Okay, but then there's a discussion of should rookie contracts be shorter then? Because once you sign into a league, you're literally locked up to that team for like 4 to 7 years, and that's too long. I'm sorry, that's too long to be stuck with the team for 4 to 7 years.
Most are like 3 to 4 years.
I've never seen a 7-year.
It's usually okay. I'm honestly thinking NBA. I know the contracts are different in NFL, but
they're usually 3 to 4.
Okay, but NBA comes along, you're restricted, and that team has your bird rights. So if you want to say no, I don't. If you get drafted by Portland and Portland's really bad, I'm just throwing an example out there, and you're a restricted free agent. 4th year comes along. Oh, I got a contract from the Wizards. Let's say they offer me all this money. I don't want to play for Portland anymore. I want to play for the Wizards. And it doesn't matter. Portland can match your contract no matter what. So you're locked up there for 4 more years. I think...
Well, then maybe you're right. Maybe they should be a little shorter. I just think that I think it's more for me, regardless, let's throw the rookie deal away. Let's just say Ramsey he had signed a contract.
Okay.
I just think, let's say AB, for example. You signed a contract, you should play. For that, that team. I guess he got traded, so you don't really have a say.
Right.
But I'm just saying, if you sign a contract and then you say you want out, I think that's a terrible move.
He forced his way out, though.
Yeah, that's a whole nother discussion. That was just terrible. But
right.
if you sign your contract, you should play through that contract, in my opinion, because as a man, if you put your name on there saying I'm going to play here for 4 years, you should play there for 4 years.
I'm honestly like down the middle. I understand the side where, I mean, if you're entering your prime, you know, your best years, you definitely want to be on a contending team. But then I also get the portion of, hey, if you sign a contract, you agree to that.
You know, boo fucking who? Honestly, there's a lot of great players that go down and don't win championships. I bet you Larry Fitzgerald wishes he had a championship. I bet you Randy Moss wishes the same thing. You know? What about T.O., Chris Carter? I bet you they all wish they had rings.
I think what's becoming annoying, sorry to cut you off, Troy, if you're trying to talk, but is these players are saying, I want to win. But then they're also saying, I want a guaranteed contract for 5 years for a bunch of money.
Exactly.
It's like, well, which one do you want? Because if you wanted to win, you would, no offense, because I hate Tom Brady, you'd be like Tom Brady.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, no.
If you want to win, you take less money. That's how this works, so you can get better pieces around you.
That's true, but I don't think he has much. It also depends on if you have faith in your franchise. Okay, I'll take less money, but are you going to surround me with the pieces necessary to win? That's the question.
Because look at the quick turnaround from Jacksonville just a few years ago. We were all predicting that they're going to be in the AFC Championship.
Right.
And now they're just, honestly, a terrible team.
Right. And that's the thing. That's exactly what I mean is like, fine, I'll stay here, but will you get the necessary pieces? And Jacksonville hasn't proved that they're able to do that. So I don't blame Jalen Ramsey at all.
Well, sometimes I feel like they're a little bit too quick because, they say, hey, are you going to get me the pieces? And then they expect it to happen overnight kind of thing.
Well,
and
this is what
this
is Ramsey's third year?
Yeah.
What is it? Okay, so you've had 3 years to build your team. I'm not saying you're going to build your team around a cornerback because that's just not what you do.
2 years.
Okay, well, whatever.
Cause
you still have 2
third
years
year.
though. Like,
yeah.
They still made moves. They got
made
Myles
moves.
Garrett. They got A.J. Boye. They've got they
Drafted Fournette.
They went and got Nick Foles to try to replace Blake Bortles and his bum ass.
all right, but bottom line, he's not happy. He wants out. I don't think there's a problem with that.
All right, so on the next topic, we'll talk about the current NFL teams that are 2-0. Which ones are we buying and which ones are we selling? Which ones we believe are a legit contending team in the playoffs, or which teams are just have a lucky start,
Okay.
to say. So I'll go down the list, and then we'll all just kind of agree. Are we buying? Are we selling? Same kind of format we did with us predicting the games for Week 3. So the first team would be the Ravens that are 2-0.
I'm selling.
Yeah, I'm a sell too.
I'm a sell.
I'm going to buy.
Okay.
I think they're going to win the division.
So do I.
Being 2-0 to start with, I mean, are you sold on Lamar Jackson? I know it's really early. Do you think later down the season they're going to start, competing?
Well, I think they win the division. I just think they. I think they've been able to play probably two of the top 3 or 4 worst teams in the NFL to start their season.
Yeah.
I think Lamar looks a lot better than he really is. That's just me.
Yeah, and now, if they win the division, I still don't know if that constitutes as buying or selling them. Like, I guess that constitutes as not because we're doing solely based on contending teams, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so yeah, I'll still sell.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can he get you to the Super Bowl?
No.
Nope.
No.
I think he can.
No, I don't think so.
But you just said you're selling.
I do. I don't think they can go this year, but you asked the question, is he good enough to get you to a Super Bowl? And I think, yes, Lamar is good enough to get you to a Super Bowl.
Okay. That's
Well, in
valid.
the AFC.
I think, like I said, the
I'm
new
sure
era of
soon Tom Brady's gone, yeah.
Like I said, in the new era of quarterbacking, I think that as long as you can be, and I think Lamar's improved his accuracy through the first couple games. There's been some really great plays.
That's true, but Ravens aren't getting past Kansas City if Tom Brady retires.
Okay, I don't know about you. I've watched the games.
Ooh, we get to see that this week, though.
We do.
His passes look a lot more accurate because most of the time his wide receivers have been wide open. And if you can't hit a wide open receiver in the NFL,
Kirk Cousins can't.
Moving on to the next team that's 2-0, the Packers. Are we buying or are we selling?
For sure, buying.
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 I love Matt LaFleur.
It was
over there.
definitely concerning at first to see them on week 1 when they beat the Bears, and it was only 10-3. But at the same time, it is impressive because it was away, and they were in Chicago with the Bears.
It's a
and
division
good
rival. They play
Top
each other
defense.
well. Yeah.
Plus, it's week 1
So
in
I
the
see,
NFL. Everything
both
is.
sides how it may be a little concerning, but then
Yeah.
also good at the
I'm
same
still
time.
buying.
All right,
sure.
Seahawks 2-0 as well.
Buying.
I'm a sell.
I
I'm
hate
selling
I
this
hate
year.
the Seahawks, honestly. It's like with a passion, but I'm buying.
I'm going to buy, and the reason I buy is because the last 3 years, I always say they're not going to make the playoffs. And somehow throughout it's always the second half of the season, they figure it out, and then they make it to the playoffs,
Are we going off of buy and sell if they're going to the playoffs or not?
contending.
I think you get Seattle.
Contending? No, I don't think they're contending. I think they'll make the playoffs, but I don't think they're contending.
I think you let Seattle sneak into the playoffs. They're interesting.
They don't even sneak in the playoffs because, like Phil said, the last half of the season they just catch fire. That's why, like, if you have Russell Wilson, do not worry about fantasy because just hold on to that guy for the last 6 weeks because he'll net you so many points. It's ridiculous.
I think they could be a sleeper. Like I really think I'm buying. I hate the Seahawks, but I have to buy them.
Okay. 49ers 2-0.
I'm selling.
Man, I'm gonna sell, but I think they are a good team.
I'm selling, and I'm going to agree. I think they're a good team. I just don't believe it yet. I still think they're really young. That defense looks nasty. I just think they need a little more time to develop. I think they're a great team. I think they could even make the playoffs, but I'm not buying into it yet. I don't think they're a contender.
One skill player away on offense.
I agree. I think they can be a good team for the future, but like as far as like now, I don't buy them. Like I don't know. I think they've played some weak competition so far. I want to see like it starts heating up after week 5, week 6. That's when their schedule starts to heat up a little bit. So that's when I think we'll actually see if they're legit.
Yeah, they got lucky again too. They had 2 decently, I wouldn't say easy games the first 2 weeks, but easier. And then they get to play the Steelers with no Big Ben.
And they're going to be playing the Saints with no Breeze.
Ooh, yeah, they're getting lucky.
Here we go.
What about Phil?
As a fan, with what I'm seeing, I'm going to buy because I like what I'm seeing. I like the games against Tampa Bay and Cincinnati. They kicked their ass pretty much both games, and that's the stuff you want to see your team do. They're supposed to beat those, worse teams like that, in a sense.
So you're kind of waiting to see also the better teams.
Once they play the Rams, which I believe is week 5, that's definitely going to be an interesting test for sure. I think they're going to win tomorrow against Pittsburgh. Then they have their bye week, the Rams week 5.
Okay.
Got a whole
Which
week.
week 4 bye weeks fucking suck, by the way.
It's very
Can they stop doing that in the NFL? Can I just be real? Like, that sucks.
And can they start choosing better Thursday night and Monday night games? Like, what is this?
The Monday night games have been okay.
I agree.
Getting back pretty
Titans and the
No,
Jaguars
no,
just played.
No, that was Thursday night game.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I agree
I-
with Thursday. I'm like, I'm not as interested.
ridiculous.
They always complain. If you've heard it over the last few years, they complain about the ratings of Thursday night games. The NFL does, and it's like, okay, but you pick the most boring matchups, and you don't televise it unless you've got the NFL Network, which a lot of cable packages don't offer. So it's like you complain about something that you can't. Whatever.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Next team, Patriots 2-0.
I'm buying.
I'm not even going to answer this
I
question.
know.
Yeah, fuck them.
Yeah, let's just move to the next one.
Bills 2-0.
Selling.
Selling.
I'm buying. I like what I'm seeing.
So
I'm selling because they're not a contender, but I think they're a lot better of a team than people are going to give them. Their
I'll do this-
defense looks good. Singletary looks good. Josh Allen's way better than people give credit to. He's the best quarterback in New York.
I kind of feel like the Bills are on the same level as the Seahawks. Like they can make the playoffs, but they're not gonna contend. I think they can sneak in, but they not. Like,
Okay, then let's change this up a little bit. They're making this is if you're buying, they're going to make the playoffs.
No.
So obviously they wouldn't make the playoffs based off of Patriots, obviously in the same division.
Yeah.
But can you see the Bills squeak in through a wild card spot?
No.
Fair enough.
I think
I
there's
could.
too many other good wild card teams. I think you factor in that either Houston or Indy will probably win that division. Probably Houston. I think Indy could be a wild card team. I think you look at the Ravens winning their division. I think the Browns could be a wild card team. I
yeah.
think the Chiefs win their division, but you look at the Chargers being a wild card team.
Those wild card teams are better than the Bills in my eyes.
Well, I think I'm pretty excited to see Singletary in Buffalo in the wintertime.
Yeah.
He's gonna be hard to bring down.
Yeah, he is. That's a big boy right there. He's a strong dude.
I mean, he's hurt right now, but
Okay,
he should
yeah.
be good. Next, Chiefs 2-0. I'm
Bye.
obviously buying.
Definitely a buy.
No point of even talking about it.
Your boy's buying it more than even most people. I think Patrick Mahomes is one of the best quarterbacks
Do you think,
of
okay,
all time.
since we're all agreeing on buying on the Chiefs, Are you buying that they beat the Patriots this year?
No.
Yes.
No.
They don't
They
have AB.
ain't beating the Patriots. AB didn't matter to the Patriots.
That's how good they are.
Oh, they matter though. When you play against the best team, they matter. They matter.
They're not even
Troy?
gonna work. It's not even. It's.
Troy? Are you buying that the Chiefs have an opportunity to beat the Patriots?
I do buy that. I actually, if we've been talking about this all year, I actually have the Chiefs in the Super Bowl this year. So I'm still going to stick to my.
Technically, the Chiefs should have been in the Super Bowl last year if it wasn't for D Ford on the offsides penalty.
Chiefs have nothing defensively for the Patriots.
I think AB not being there.
I'm buying that there's an
adds-
opportunity for it.
Yeah.
I'm not
I
saying
don't-
for
yeah.
sure they're going to go to the Super Bowl.
There's
but
an
I
opportunity.
think they have the opportunity.
There's an
I
opportunity.
guess I could agree with that they have an opportunity, but I think it's going to go the same way it always goes. Andy Reid's going to get close, and they're just going to lose.
You guys-
Don't
For-
you kind of feel bad for Andy Reid?
I do.
Sorry.
No, you're good. I was just going to say, for our sake, let's hope this Chiefs do it, because I'm.
Oh, I hope. Oh, but yeah, I don't want everyone to get it twisted.
I'm so
I hate the
sick of
Patriots.
Boston,
I hate
dude.
the Patriots.
So do I.
But I do know how good they are.
I hate Boston teams in general, but go on.
Is there another two?
Yeah, there's two more.
Yeah. There's the Cowboys that are 2-0.
So.
Sell.
Yep.
Buying.
Oh, jeez.
We talked about this before amongst the group, and I mean, if there has to be a year for the Cowboys to go to the Super Bowl, it's definitely this year, because after this year, there's going to be a lot of contracts they're going to have to look into, and with Zeke's recent contract extension, and then Dak Prescott, which they obviously have to pay, they're going to be very limited.
I guess my whole point here is like, name an area of the Cowboys game that's weak.
You said that about the Eagles too, though.
Coaching.
Management.
Fair enough.
Management.
Yeah,
Because their coach is Jerry Jones, so good luck.
And Garrett is
His
But
predecessor.
I'm
He's
just
just his
saying,
assistant.
Your O line is good. Your D line is good. Your tight end is good. Your receivers are good. Your backs are good. Your quarterback is good enough.
Jake,
Your-
isn't this the case every year,
your
though?
secondary is
Every
good.
year
No,
this
no.
is the case.
No, they haven't.
Yes,
had
it is.
Name the last time they've had it. Okay, they've had some great offensive lines. They've had some great running games.
I wanna throw
Name
up
the
right
last
now.
time the Cowboys defense was as good.
Last year.
I'll say, remember, we were just talking about this a week ago when freaking Bill Parcells was in Dallas 10 years ago, whatever it was. They had like the 4th-ranked defense and the 5th-ranked offense, one of the best teams in the league overall. And then Tony Romo must have kicked to freaking win the game.
Yeah, and that's
something always
That's
happens.
the story of Tony Romo, though. He's a great quarterback who would always choke.
Story of the Cowboys.
It's just the Cowboys. Dude. I understand where you're coming from. You're right. They're overall, like on paper, they are solid. But I'm not a Cowboy believer.
I'm gonna tell you what. Go look
Right.
at their schedule too. Like they're gonna end up with a top 2 seed in my opinion. They're gonna have home field advantage. Do you not think that do you not think that I don't think the NFL is completely rigged, but I do think that there are people that decide, hey, I think this would be a great business decision for the NFL, and getting the Patriots and Cowboys in a Super Bowl
I hope Aaron Rodgers is listening to
would
this.
be a cash cow.
The
I hope
best
Aaron
business.
Rodgers is listening.
The
Of course
best
he's gonna
business
listen to this.
decision was when the Super Bowl was in Dallas in their home stadium years ago. 3-4 years ago, it was at Dallas Stadium. That was the year. Oh, it's just going to be the first year in NFL history a team plays at home in the Super Bowl. Did it happen?
No
No.
one was buying into that except for idiot Cowboy fans.
No, everyone was saying it on air when the Cowboys had a national televised game. They were all saying it. Who's next team?
Your team, Troy.
Jesus.
Rams 2-0. Are we buying or are we selling?
I'm buying.
I buy.
Playoffs, yeah, I buy.
Unfortunately, I buy.
That's a content. What do you mean, like buy? Like you think they're just going to make the playoffs? Or not going to make the Super Bowl? Like, what do you think?
I think they can make the Super Bowl. I'm just not too sold on them. I think hopefully Aaron Donald's not. Hopefully it's not something that lingers. Hopefully he's not too hurt. I think Gurley actually really hurt. Just that arthritis, I think it really hurts you. And I don't care what anyone says. I'm not sold on Goff. That's just me. He might be able to get you to a Super Bowl. I understand you don't need an ace in the hole, but Goff makes some pretty bad decisions. I'm sorry.
Right, yeah, I agree to an extent. I'm a Rams fan, but I'm honestly not even worried about Goff. I'm more so worried about the defense.
Yeah.
I just don't think the defense is very.
They're getting a little old.
Well, I mean, you get Clay Matthews and Eric Weddle in there. I mean, Jake made me more of a believer in Weddle as
I
the
like
seasons
Weddle.
come on.
I like Weddle.
I like Weddle too. I wasn't that big a believer, but I like him. He's actually adds a toughness to the
Out
defense.
of the
He's a
games,
stud.
out of the games
I
I've
like
watched, Weddle, this season. There's been like 5-6 opportunities I saw where it was a one-on-one between either as a running back or a wide receiver, and obviously Weddle got the tackle, which he's supposed to do, but you'd be surprised with some safeties where they just can't do basic tackling, and
Right.
having a player like that to be able to rely on and ensure that nothing goes past them, I think is huge.
Yeah, I agree. And veteran leadership is also good to lead some of those young guys like John Johnson, Corey Littleton, those type of guys. It's always good to have veteran leadership. But when it comes down to it, I'm not really sold on their defense. But I think their offense can carry them a long way. So I don't know, that's just my view on it.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Who wants to move on to some baseball?
I know Alex does. Let's do it.
Yeah.
You want to talk about the Yankees a little bit?
It's heating up.
Yeah, it is heating up.
The reason I say that is because Alex is also a Yankees fan.
Yeah, pretty much. And I just think that I saw them celebrating after they won their division win. They clinched the playoffs, and
It bugged you, didn't it?
it kind of bugged me just because they had a game the next night, and they actually lost the next game that next night, and
They partied too hard?
I don't even know if they I just don't know. Who knows if they drank? I don't know what they did.
Or they just kind of laid back because it was like a sense of, we made it.
I just feel like, yeah, once you pull your foot off the gas even a little bit, sometimes it's hard to get that gas back going. And so, I don't know, I saw them celebrating, and I was like, I don't know, man, you got a game the next morning. Hopefully these guys are going to at least go to bed and get some rest or something, because they were a half game up on the Astros, and the Astros won yesterday, and the Yankees lost, and now they're down a game.
To your point, I mean, they have an opportunity to have home field advantage all the way through the playoffs. And I think we all agree how important home field advantage is. And the first example I can give is the 2001 World Series with the Diamondbacks and the Yankees. How each team won at home and how important it is to have home field advantage. And I really feel like if the Yankees had home field advantage that year, the Diamondbacks might have lost.
Yeah, and if they would have tested Luis Gonzalez harder.
Oh, shut up.
Anyway, so the Yankees right now are 55-24 at home, and the Astros are 59-20 at home. So that kind of like solidifies it how important home field advantage is for these teams.
Yeah.
So to Alex's point, the Yankees shouldn't let go. They should continue to accelerate and push forward in trying to get home field advantage.
I agree with that. I mean, winning a division, they won their division, right? That's
Yeah.
what they were celebrating.
First time since 2012.
Okay, so I get it's like the first time, but like you also have to look at a big picture. Like, we got a game the next morning, guys, and we're trying to win a World Series. We're not just trying to win a division. Saying that means let's get home field advantage. Like, I pretty much 100% agree with Alex. Like, nah, okay, have a drink, whatever, but look, we're trying to win a World Series. That's the big picture.
Yeah, so when I was 14 and we went to the Pony World Series, we were the best team in the United States, and because we had just won against all the teams in the United States, and we were the last one standing, and we were going to play Puerto Rico. Well, a bunch of my teammates that night went to the movies the night before our game with some girls because they wanted to hook up with some girls. And they probably got 3 or 4 hours of sleep that night. And there was like 4 or 5 of them. And the next day, after we got spanked by Puerto Rico in the championship, they wanted to complain, and so I lost it, and I went off on them because I was like, how are you going to complain about losing when you got 4 hours of sleep because you were too busy going out to see a movie with a girl?
Yeah.
Like, you're celebrating your best in the United States. We didn't come here to get best in the United States. We came here to get best in the world.
Yeah.
So
That's the way I look
probably
at it.
when you saw that with the Yankees, it instantly hit you like that, and you're like, oh.
Oh, I just knew. I'm like, don't celebrate. Just you haven't won anything. Like, congratulations, you just won your division. No one's going to care in 10 years that you won your division. No one's going to care next year that you won your division unless you go win the World Series.
It's funny because what you said just made me remind myself, or made me think of Michael Jordan's epic flu game when he just killed the Jazz. Apparently, like, it's been rumored that he was just hungover and he had like a bad stomach from just drinking the night before. But that's okay. It's freaking Michael Jordan. He goes out and scores 38 points on you on the road and still wins. So it's like, look, I get you guys want to go out and party. That's fine. But tomorrow you better bring your ass to that game and freaking perform.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
So, Yeah, no, I agree with you, Alex. Like, get in line, know what's important, and just bring it the next day.
Yeah, and I think we can all agree that it is going to come down to the Astros and the Yankees in the American League. I think both the hitting and the pitching up for both teams is just too freaking good. So,
Yeah, Astros pitching is, I don't know, Jesus.
but it's fun to watch the
Scary.
race for the number one seed. It's really entertaining.
It is. Oh yeah. Anytime you have race for seedings, it's really
Especially
exciting.
for the first.
Well, you've even got the Braves trying to catch the Dodgers right now in the NL. I don't think they will because they're, I think, 4 games back. But
Yeah. I just wanted to hear everyone's opinion kind of on like the mentality of, winning your division or just getting by a certain round in the playoffs. I just feel like sometimes teams celebrate too early, and the ultimate goal is to win the championship,
It is.
not a pennant, not a division.
well, and especially if you're the Yankees too.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
I mean, I can understand.
got a
like,
lot of pride on your team.
Like,
man.
look, I can understand like the Diamondbacks celebrating when they win their division.
It's true.
They've got one World Series win, or
Yeah.
a team like that hasn't ever won the World Series. Like, I get it if you're celebrating a division win, but
The Oklahoma City Thunder from 2010, like, they went from the Supersonics, and then, like, 2009, I think it was, they turned into the Thunder, or it was either 9 or 10, I don't remember the year.
sorry,
But
it's 27.
they made it to the playoffs, the first time in their team's history, and they played the Lakers, like the 1-seed Lakers, and first round, and the Thunder won a game, and it's like everyone was like wondering, like, oh, are they going to freak out because it's their first win in team history, and they didn't. Like, you just see like everyone high-fiving each other. That was it. They didn't go up and go crazy. They ended up losing the series, but still, it's like you kind of wonder, did the Yankees need to do that? They just need to chill out and get ready for their long playoff run that they hopefully have, or do they just kind of go out and go crazy?
Definitely a huge shout out to the Yankees because obviously they had to deal with a bunch of injuries and still managed to be chasing for the first round seed, or I'm sorry, for the number 1 seed through the playoffs. So huge shout out to that team, honestly.
Yeah, no doubt.
I think that's really impressive. Alrighty, again, we appreciate you tuning in to the Buffoon Sports Talk. Before we sign off, do you guys have anything else to say?
Yeah, just like we're all over social media. You name it. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. We're everywhere. So look for us, Buffoon Sports Talk.
Thanks for listening. We're all just 4 really good friends who love talking sports. So, we love the passion. We love the fact that you guys are taking time to listen in, and we hope to be able to do this full time.
Yeah, we're hoping to have our website up in a week or 2 and hopefully start getting some merchandise on there and, donation page, help keep the podcast going. If this thing goes and takes off and we get, some donations and, advertisement, we'll be bringing out content every single day if we can. So we just appreciate all the, fans out there listening and supporting our dream. So thanks, everybody.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, and the Buffoon Sports Talk, we're signing off. Till next time, Bubba over there, take it away.
Oh!